WB's first Shazam film was released. I found it to be a fun superhero film that had laughs and heart and enough superhero action to satisfy me. It wasn't fantastic, just a solid, enjoyable film. But will Shazam, Fury of the Gods, be able to duplicate the sense of fun that the first film was able to convey? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Classic Comics. This is my review of Shazam, Fury of the Gods. I'll be doing a non-spoiler review first, and then get into spoilers later in the video. I'll warn you when the spoilers begin. Now, I'll start by saying that I quite enjoyed the first movie. I thought it did a good job of adapting Shazam to the screen. It had plenty of humor, plenty of action, and also a bit of heart as well. Billy's story of trying to find his birth mother, only to find out that she didn't want him, was actually very touching. And the theme of family, even an adoptive or found family like Billy and the others have, gave the film a bit more dramatic pull than a lot of superhero films have. The sequel feels very much like the first and touches on some of the same themes that the first one involved. Billy is going to be aging out of the foster system soon, and he and Mary are going to need to move on with their lives. And Billy is preparing to be rejected when he reaches adulthood. It was funny, but the humor wasn't constantly used to undermine the drama or the action, instead mixing it into the story effectively, unlike, say, the way the Marvel films do it. The story is fine, although there's nothing here that's pushing the boundaries of filmmaking or anything particularly original. The performances are solid overall, although I gotta say Lucy Liu really seems to be just cashing a paycheck. I don't think her expression changes once during the entire film. Zachary Levi brings another energetic performance to the film, but the rest of the cast is fine and they get the job done. Director David Sandberg does another solid job on this film, again giving it a very similar feel to the first film, and the plot is solid. I didn't notice any real glaring plot holes, although when you're dealing with magic, plot holes aren't that unusual. Now, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give Shazam to about, I guess, 7.5 golden apples, and I recommend you see it. You won't be blown away by it, but if you keep your expectations modest, I think you'll have a good time with this one. As far as the film being woke is concerned, yes, there is some of it there, but it doesn't undermine the film, in my opinion. Making the villains all strong, independent women is a bit of a giveaway, but they don't spend the film complaining about men or making political points. They just happen to be female. Although having Lucy Liu play a Greek goddess is a bit much, I have to say. Now, the film ends by setting up some things that could allow Shazam to continue, but it's hard to see that happening, especially with the news around the film. It's apparently not doing well at the box office, which is too bad, in my opinion. I think most people would enjoy this film if they saw it, but I think most people just see it as a dead end and they just don't want to bother, and I think maybe superhero fatigue is playing into it as well. Now, I'm going to get into spoilers from this point on, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you can see the movie first and come back. Now, Shazam Fury of the Gods picks up a couple of years after the first film, and the Shazam family, or the Philly Fiascos, as they're known in the local press, since they have a tendency to cause as many problems as they solve, have begun to drift apart. Billy is trying to hold the team and his surrogate family together, but Mary is already an adult and planning to leave the foster home, and Freddie, who's grown a bit arrogant, really, wants to strike out on his own, free of Billy's leadership. In addition, Billy is going to turn 18 in a few months, aging out of the foster system, and he's going to face the prospect of also having to move out and face the world on his own. The rest of the Shazam family is chafing somewhat under Billy's control, and they're increasingly disinterested in their superhero adventures. Unknown to them, the staff of Shazam, the wizard who gave them their powers, was found after the last movie and placed in a museum after Billy broke the staff in two at the end of the first film. Breaking the staff also broke a spell that kept the daughters of Atlas, one of the titans of Greek myth, imprisoned. Once they're free, they retrieve the staff, and then they find Shazam, the wizard, not Billy, and force him to repair the staff and restore its powers. Now, it turns out that the staff was made by Atlas, and it was used to rob gods of their power and then bestow those powers on others. The daughters, Calypso and Hespera, played by Lucy Liu and Helen Mirren, respectively, then seek out Shazam's champions to take the powers back that were stolen from their father, Atlas, centuries ago. The Shazam family springs into action to stop a bridge from collapsing, but while they save the people, they fail to save the bridge and it breaks apart. Now, in the wake of this failure and Billy's complaints about their performance, the others grow more ambivalent about their superhero lives and following Billy's lead. Freddy, in particular, is adventuring on his own more and more, even telling bystanders that Billy is his sidekick. Now, after having a dream in which Shazam appears and warns him about the Daughters of Atlas, Billy warns the others, but the warning comes too late. At school, Freddy has met a girl named Anne, and she befriends him, but it turns out that she also is a daughter of Zeus, Anthea, and she was just setting him up to lure him into a trap. They strip Freddy of his powers, and then they take him as a hostage. And then they create a magic force field around Philadelphia, trapping everyone within it. They then take Freddy to Olympus, and he's placed into a prison, along with Shazam, who's also being held by the Daughters of Atlas. Hesper then retrieves a golden apple from the Rock of Eternity, and she plans to plant it on Olympus, which has become barren and desolate since the gods perished. However, Calypso wants to plant the apple on Earth. Hesper and Anthea are opposed to this because the apple wasn't meant to be planted in a mortal realm. If they plant it on Earth, it will simply produce monsters. Before they can settle the matter, Freddy and Shazam, who've escaped from their prison, steal the apple and flee to the Rock of Eternity. The Daughters of Atlas send a dragon after them, and Freddy, Shazam, Billy, and the rest of the Shazam family travel back to Philadelphia with the apple while the dragon chases them. Back in their foster home, they reveal their identities to their adoptive parents, and they all flee from the dragon. The Daughters of Atlas arrive, and Calypso turns on Hespera, seemingly killing her. Oh, and also Pedro, the Hispanic member of the group, I forgot, he is revealed to be gay. But they actually kind of applied that in the first film already, so it isn't really a surprise. In fact, even in the film, when he says he's gay, the others all just kind of shrug and are like, yeah, we know that. It's portrayed as really being a bigger deal to him than it is to the others, which I thought was a really kind of a realistic way of addressing it. So Calypso then plants the golden apple, and the tree of life grows from it, but as they had warned, it begins producing monsters, and the tree spawns minotaurs and cyclopses and harpies and various other creatures. And she also uses the staff to strip the powers of all the Shazam family except for Billy, and she even takes the powers of Anthea away as well. Now, this all leads up to a finale where Billy fights Calypso and the dragon, while the others are trying to save the city from the hordes of monsters that are attacking it. You know, in a way, this is actually kind of a warm up for the Dungeons and Dragons film, with so many mythological creatures running around in it. Okay, now this gets a bit spoilery, so you might not want to hear it. But if you've seen some advertisements, then I guess you already know. So Billy defeats Calypso and the dragon, but Billy dies in the process. Afterward, they bury him on Olympus. They ask Shazam if the staff can revive him, but the staff's power was expended during the final battle and no longer functions. And Shazam says that it can't work unless a god can recharge it. But Shazam laments that there are no more gods left. And then Wonder Woman shows up, and her theme music starts playing, and she uses her power to recharge the staff and then resurrects Billy. And Billy proceeds to hit on her rather clumsily, but she wishes them good luck and then leaves. And then they use the staff to restore the powers to the others and restore Olympus as well, and the story ends there. We then get a mid-credit scene where two characters from the Peacemaker show, and I don't know their names. It's the fat guy with the beard and James Gunn's girlfriend. Anyway, they find Billy and they offer him membership in the Justice Society. And then there's also another scene after the credits where we see Savannah and Mr. Mind again, like we did at the end of the first film. And this seems to set up another sequel, but since this movie seems to be tanking at the box office, I don't think anything is going to come of that. Oh, I also forgot to mention, there's also a cameo by Michael Gray, who played Billy Batson in the 1970s TV show. He appears very briefly, he has like one line. But for an older fan like myself who watched that show as a kid, that was nice to see. So, let me know what you thought of Shazam Fear of the Gods in the comments, and let me know if you agree or disagree with my review. Also, please like this video and share it online, and sub to the channel, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks for watching.